I'm Leigh LaRie.
And I'm Nick B.
Listen, we're just two single girls from the City of Roses discussing all things love, lust, and perception.
And roses are a symbol of all things beautiful about love.
But as you know, love can get a little dirty. So we're here to talk about it.
Dirty Roses Podcast starts now.
Hey, I'm Leigh LaRie.
And I'm Nick B.
And welcome to Dirty Roses Podcast. Guess what?
What?
We talking about something that ruined my marriage.
Let us know.
Share these stories.
So let's dive into that. Let's get into the topic. What is it that ruined your marriage?
Our topic is opposite sex best friends.
Oh.
Now, I'm being very sarcastic when I say it ruined my marriage, but it definitely played a part.
It definitely put the nail in a coffin.
It was a hard, ugly nail.
Absolutely.
Yes. But we have some guests that are going to help us talk about this, and they're married, and they could tell us some insight about how this works, how this doesn't work, and all those good things. So we are going to introduce my homegirl, my classmate, my friend from Grant High School. Should have been a general.
Don't do that.
We tried out for cheerleading. She made it. I didn't.
Oh, shit.
But it's cool. It's cool because she's good.
Lost.
That part. Because I showed my little Moesha cheer. I was like,
you did.
And they were like, yeah, it's a no, dog. It's a no, dog.
For us. But good luck to you.
That was great. In fact,
it was like we both was.
Yeah.
I just did it for you.
You did it better. And I'm okay with that. Yeah. And we got the wonderful second half of her union here. He got the batter on deck, the corn dogs, the tornado fries. He gonna cook everything in a deep fryer and make y'all have high cholesterol, and it tastes good on the way down. But we got the Bostics, Miss Kiki and Mr. Isaiah Bostic. Hey guys.
Yes, welcome.
Well, of course, I've alluded to this, but we start every episode with a story. We talk about something that kind of led us to this topic.
Yep.
So as y'all know, I was married for like 17 years with the same person for 21. Towards the end of our marriage, well, I'll just say this. He had a best friend from childhood that I was like, okay, she was the best friend from before I was around, so I'm going to be okay with that. Mm-hmm. I was cool with it. Never met her in real life in the whole 21 years that we were together. Never met her ever.
Really? Never met a best friend?
That part. We can get into that. Right. So never met her.
Noted.
The only people that did know her were the family that lived in the same town from when they were kids. But when they moved away, none of his newer friends knew her. His high school classmates didn't know her because he went to a different school. Like, nobody knew her.
So it's not here in Oregon?
No. So my ex is from another state. They lived in the same state. Then me and him met in Alabama when we were in college. And so this friend was from his childhood in that state that he lived in when he was born. And they remained friends the whole time. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm not going to be the jealous type because I've got lots of guy friends that I've had since we were in middle school, whatever. Right. But I never had sex with them. And they had sex at one point in their time.
Oh,
so
he told you that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, he took her virginity.
That's a little more than a best friend.
Right. But it was when they were super duper young. So I was like, let me be the bigger person, right?
Okay. I heard you over there.
Right, that part. So
maybe I ain't that big yet. Maybe I ain't that big yet.
So towards the end of our marriage, I would say they became more vocally close. Like it wasn't like a, hey, we just check them every now and then kind of a thing. It was like we talk every single day. They're, checking in about the problems that me and him were having. She even was like, kind of like, in a way on my side. Like she was like the other person that I would be like, okay, well, he's doing these things. She's like, yeah, I got you, sis. She's like, I'm gonna tell him that he's wrong for that, whatever, right? Sure. So she was doing that whole thing. She had a birthday. She moved to Florida. She had a birthday. She invited us to come out there. Well, we were getting ready to go out of the country for a family trip. And I was like, it's too close. We can't afford to do this. We're not going to come, but we can come another time and make up for it, right? So that was the plan. 2 days before her birthday, he tells me I'm going to her birthday. I said, oh, we're going? You made it happen for us? He's like, no, I'm going. Oh. And I said, oh, okay. He left. He was gone for 8 days. Came back.
Oh.
I was like, okay. Problems were all over the place with us at that point. Like, it was awful. And then about a month later, he left. He claimed they never did nothing. They never messed around, aside from that one thing, whatever, back in the day. Wasn't dating her. About 4 months after our divorce was finalized, the kids are like, Dad's got a girlfriend. And I was like, is it so-and-so? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, Fast forward, she's now pregnant. pregnant, and he's moving to go live with her.
Right. Everybody's taking a sip.
Oh, okay, okay.
Sip to that baby.
Yeah. So, if you will, this topic is very personal to me.
We're going to sip and see that damn baby. What's the who that baby look like? Who does baby look like? Who the baby? Who that baby?
We'll see. But it's funny because
how far down is this unborn child?
when he told me, he claimed that she was only 2 months, but they knew the gender and everything.
The gender
at 2 months. So
modern technology.
So we just gonna keep lying, right? I said, you act like we didn't have a whole baby. You don't know the process, but it was whatever. So I'm like, we're not together. We've been divorced now for about a year now at this point. Separated for almost 2 years. So I'm like, okay, it is what it is. It sucks, whatever. But my point is, during our relationship, I was cool with that one because she was there before me. I can't get mad about somebody that was there before me. During the relationship, though, he befriends females. And I always had issues with that because it was like, why do you need a new female friend? And if you're a new female friend, why are you not friends with me? Or why did we not check in? Why are you only checking in with him? It came to a point to where one of them came to one of our house parties, and all of my friends were like, why is this bitch following him around? Like, every time he got up and moved to another room.
Because she didn't know anybody but him.
Right. Well, she did. She knew me. It was part of a whole friend circle. And you probably know these people, but I can't say no names right now, but I'll tell you later. So anyways, so it always caused problems with our relationship because I was like, why do you need to check in with these people the way that you check in with me? Right. Like, I should be top priority. You should be checking with me about stuff. They're the ones that you check in when you have free time during regular office hours. Like, 9 to 5 or later. Right. My office hours. Right. So it became an issue. And so there's always discussions in people's relationships about, is it okay for you to have an opposite sex friend, an opposite sex best friend? How does that work? What are the boundaries? How does your spouse feel? So we invited a couple who y'all are married, and y'all have friends of all genders. All two.
All both of them.
I mean, we're in Portland, so there's like 35.
Nah.
There's like 35.
I got
50.
two genders of two genders of friends. No, I got all genders of friends.
But yeah, so
I got a rainbow.
So Nick B, have
Yes.
you ever experienced this at all with any guys that you dated?
So because I do not have long-term relationships, I have not ran into any jealousy of guys who I'm dating having issues with my best friends. So I connect more with men than I do women. And I mean, my girlfriends are strong girlfriends. Like, we're close and everything, but I think I connect faster, quicker, easier with guys. And I do have 2 guy best friends. Well, 3. He knows who he is. I love him too. One lives out of state, and the other I met actually while I was at work. And so he was like my work best friend, and I've got an out of state best friend. Talk about them all the time, but because my relationships were never very long, I don't think there was ever any intimidation. So I don't really have experience where I can speak on it being an issue that I've had a male best friend in a relationship.
So Kiki,
Yeah,
you mentioned off camera when we were having this conversation that you have a guy best friend.
I do.
You do. And you're good with this.
I'm cool with it.
Gotcha. And so was he a best friend before you guys met?
Yes.
Nah. And I also knew him before.
You knew him.
Yeah.
I know him.
Wait, did you just say nah? She said yes.
No,
You said
so,
no.
No.
so he actually knew him first.
Okay.
Oh.
He met him in high school.
Okay.
I met him later through someone else, and then we connected. And so then by the time we started dating, like, he and I were already close. We were already really good
So you
friends.
guys met separately.
Yes.
Yeah, I've
So
been
that's
knowing
probably
him-
why
I've
he
been
said
knowing him
no.
since-
Because he knew him first.
I've been knowing him since
He
middle
really
school.
did know him first.
Yeah, him and his brother have been knowing since middle
Okay,
school. So
okay,
they cool,
yeah.
cool
Gotcha,
guys. Yeah,
gotcha.
you know what I mean?
And do you have female friends?
I have a lot of people.
A lot of female friends. Okay, and that's never been an issue for you?
No, he has a female best friend.
Oh, okay. And did you know her before you got married or before you met Kiki?
Yeah.
Okay.
Since I was 15.
Wow. Okay. So are there ever any like stipulations, like if it's a person that you knew before, or are there any ever like rules or boundaries that you guys set?
For me,
Mm-hmm.
no. For me, even when he and I first started dating, I only had an issue with the female best friend because it was a little awkward at first. I was like, this is your best friend, but I've never met her. I've never talked to her.
Right.
I've never seen her. I just know her name, you know. And that was a little off-putting for me because then it was kind of like,
Why?
Why?
Right.
You know, why? But
She didn't. You know how
she's very.
you know
but
how
once I
women
met her,
are
I
about
got it.
other women.
Yes.
And
She's
and
very.
she was protecting me. We really been friends since
Right.
like we was 15. So she meet a female, she'd be like, oh, you know,
Wait, the
like
best friend was
The best friend.
you know what I'm
Realistically,
saying?
the best friend could care less about meeting me at the time. She was like, I don't care, because what if this don't go nowhere? And, you know, I don't even care about me. Yeah, now I've been made friends with this girl. What if I don't like her? No.
I find that with my family members who date people, and I feel like I don't want to meet this person until I know you're serious.
She had no desire to meet me. And so to me, that was weird. She would like invite him to dinner and stuff like that. And I'd be like, oh no.
So, okay, now before we dive more into this, my first question that I need to get clarification on is what makes someone a best friend versus just
A friend.
a friend?
I think it's really a phrase. You know, I think for us, with me and my friend, we knew each other since we were 15. We lived right next door to each other forever. So we was really friends every day. Like, and we never did anything sexually ever. You know, we were just really friends.
Right.
So I think for me, it was that we grew up from then, and then as adults, we even became friends. You know, like we were friends that long, so we always called each other best friends. You know, but the definition, I think it's just the term. I think when you have somebody that you're always really cool with, or you always you communicate with a lot, or you know, and then as the female, she was the only female that I did that with as far as that time. So I think that's why I called her my best friend.
Okay. Is that the same definition for you?
Yeah. For me, I think the reason I kind of, you know, dubbed him my best friend is that was the first male that I met that I felt like I connected with, bonded with, and he never tried to be on that type of time. Never once tried to be on that type of time. Genuinely was just like, you're a super cool person. Like, we connected through music. We connected through a whole bunch of different things. We're both like super silly and goofy. You know what I mean? And so that was the first time that I genuinely connected with the male.
Right.
That
But are you
was-
attractive to him?
No, no.
That was the next question. So,
But honestly, here's the thing.
Or is he
Is
attractive
I'm not
person?
a person that focuses on aesthetics.
okay.
Now, don't get me wrong. My baby bad. Okay? Don't get me wrong.
Is that
My baby bad.
There
You
you
know what
go.
I mean? And that's what attracted me to
the way
him.
Leigh
He's
felt
looking like that.
like it was basically like show you.
I'm that nigga.
Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean?
He ain't me. He ain't me.
But for me, I'm actually more of a personality-driven person. I don't care what you look like. If you got a dope vibe, you got a dope personality, I'm in.
Yeah.
But with him, it just never was like that. We were just genuinely cool. He was fun. He was cool to kick it with.
If there had been physical attraction on either end, would you have still been able to have been best friends?
No.
Okay.
No.
I have a question. So, do you feel like, because I find this a lot with a lot of my guy friends, not all of them, but some of them, that at some point in time, there was a level of attraction that there was like, and I feel like I say this very wholeheartedly. I feel like when you have a best friend, because you are so connected to this person, that you have a moment of confusion, I think. Like where you're like, do I like this person or do I not? And then you realize you don't. You're like, okay, cool. But I always feel like there's that moment of confusion that kind of blurs lines sometimes. And I feel like sometimes it happens on both ends.
Yeah.
And they don't always happen at the same time. So it's like at one moment you'd be like,
True.
dang, I'm looking at this motherfucker like, could I ever date this person?
Right.
Do I feel something because we're so connected?
Well,
And they'd be
especially because they typically know everything about you.
Right.
And they still vibe with you. They still kick it with you. And it's
Despite
like,
all things.
yeah, it's like you know everything about me.
Right.
And you still tapping in.
Right.
Okay, maybe
Right.
this could work. So,
Right. I was asking my two guy best friends. I kind of asked some of these exact same questions to them, trying to get clarification. Like, all right, so what makes your best friend the best friend, but not the one? You know, like, especially when you get married, and I'm sure somewhere in your vows or somewhere on your wedding day, the two of you at some point said, wow, I get to marry my best friend. But
Right.
when I spoke with my guy best friends, they made it very clear that if you're my best friend, you're not the one, because I'm not going to share the same type of conversation with my best friend that I am my spouse. My best friend is gonna know that I just took down 3 baddies last night.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna tell my wife that necessarily. And me being the best friend I'm like, but did they all get theirs? Like, how did you do? And that's, how did it go?
Right.
Me
No, for
asking
real.
my questions where they
Man,
would not
that's so
expect
mean.
that from they wouldn't expect that from their wife. They're
Right,
like, okay,
obviously
Nicole's
not.
gonna say that.
Well,
Yes.
obviously not.
No, seriously. Like my best
a
friend,
good
I used to
question.
be like, but was she cute though?
Right.
But like, what her
but did
house look like?
But did
Was
she
her
have a
house
fat
clean?
ass though? I mean,
Yeah.
she a baddie though.
I was that.
Right, that's me.
I was definitely that friend.
I'm that friend.
I definitely used to be like, don't like her.
Well,
her
you
shoes,
smash her
her
again,
shoes
though.
was dirty. That mean her house dirty. I was definitely that friend.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Right. So, with that being said, do you guys kind of see the same thing when it comes to your best friends versus your spouse? Do you tell your spouse each other the same things that you tell your best friends?
I think that, be honestly, no.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we all have our, like with me and we was friends, but I was kind of placed in the friend zone by her. So I'm not going to say that. So, because I was like, again, I was 15, so I'm being honest, I was
Right.
young. And I liked her, but she liked older dudes. She had a baby and everything by 15. Like, you know what I mean? So, right. So she like older dudes. So I was like, I can't compete with that at that point. So I'm just going to be her friend. Like, we was really friends.
Right.
So, I'm sorry, where did the question lead to?
It was really about, do you share the same
Do you
thing
share
with
the
your
same
spouse
thing?
so you
Yeah.
your best friend?
But yeah, that's where we went back. My bad. But as far as sharing the same thing, I think it's a little different. Like, you know what I mean? Of course, you got stuff, because I might have things that I talk about with her that have nothing to do with Kierra, you know what I mean? Or things that, things that we've been talking about since we could have inside jokes that she'll never know about, or, you know what I mean? Because it's been so long. I'm 41. That's what, damn 30 years that we as friends. They're like, you know what I'm saying? So, of course, I think we always going to have conversations that I wouldn't have, but there's nothing that I would hide from her. If she was to ask me about something that me and my friend talked about, I would tell her, you know.
Are there things that are off limits in talking to the best friends in relation to your relationship?
Is there anything you keep in the house, conversation-wise, that you wouldn't share?
I'm gonna say yes and no. See, that's kind of a hard question. So I say yes and no because for me, my best friend is also married. So I may not dive into specifics or full-on details, but this is somebody that I can also bounce off marital issues from.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, we're best friends, but then you're also married. So I can be like, hey, has this ever been a problem for you guys? Is this hard for you? This is, you know what I mean? We typically are super lighthearted though.
Right.
We don't talk about a lot of issues both ways. You know what I mean? He will every now and then, maybe be like, oh, I'm stressed out, or I'm going through this, but never just specifically like she's doing this, and this.
I only
and I
have
don't
vent
like
to my
it.
male friends like that.
Yeah.
So like,
But he's not
I
a
think
venter, period.
That's I was about to say, like, I'm
He's
like,
not a venter,
like
period.
I got a lot of friends that are like close, like boys, and I really won't talk about my relationship to them like that. Like maybe every once in a while, like if we having a deep conversation and like things lead to that. But as far as like, oh, something happened, I'm like, oh, bro, guess what happened over here? Like I don't know, I never been that person.
Definitely speak to this because you're the only man in the room. Is that mostly your personality, or is that mostly because men don't communicate the same way that women do?
That's facts, but that is me. Okay. That is my personality. But that's 100% fact that women and men communicate differently. Like, I think we tend to, for me, I bottle a lot of things in. Like, I don't put everything out there right away. I might sit, watch, and listen. I do that with everything, with every aspect of my life. Kind of just sit back and then play, and then I'll get fed up and get mad, and then that's an issue too. So I try not to do that. But yeah, I think men communicate a little bit different. Women, as well. Y'all would say everything. Maybe not all y'all. I'm sorry. Let me say that. But a lot of y'all will say what's on your mind most of the time when it comes to your mind. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the difference. I think that's
that might be
weaknesses.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Around the time.
I'm gonna get
Not
another one.
everybody, but you know.
Yeah.
She's not the only woman I ever dealt with, so it's not like I'm always talking specifically on her. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on, I'm not.
She said, I have a whole plethora of...
I'm not saying all that, but yeah, nah.
No.
Yeah.
Has there ever been a time where any of your female friends or male friends have caused any kind of issue in your relationship? Doesn't have to be the best friend, but any of your friends.
Not that I could think of.
Would there be a situation that could cause like an issue?
Yeah, you're not spending the night at nobody's house. Yeah.
Like nobody like who?
Drunk to drive, you better call the Uber.
You mean like nobody like who? I'm confused. Like one of your friends or something?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't do that anyway.
Yeah, we're not doing that one.
Yeah.
Because I might show up and knock on the door.
Are either of you okay with the other one disapproving of you having any particular friend? Like if you don't like a guy friend that she's close with, do you ever say, you know what? I feel like you need to take a step back.
Nah,
from that
facts.
friendship?
I've done that before. 100% facts.
Yeah. How does that go over
have.
for you? How does that work? And
For me,
She done it before too.
he didn't. So here's the thing. Here's what's so funny. Hey, here's what's so funny though, is I did have a friend that he expressed, that's a little too close for me. It makes me uncomfortable. To me, I thought that was dope. A lot, like you said, a lot of men don't talk about their feelings.
Right,
You know what I mean? I felt like that was big of him
Right.
to admit that and admit it in a respectful manner.
Okay.
He wasn't rude. He didn't yell. He just was like, yeah, for me, that's a no. So because of the manner that he did it, say less. Shut it down. Hey.
What were there, if you care to share, what were the particular, I know Portland's so small, so if we say too many details, people will be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that is.
Definitely don't
want that. But
No, you cool. You cool.
So particular details was just like, oh, come over, let's do wine tasting, let's do this, let's do that. And he was like, okay, that's cool.
right.
But that particular character, I don't know.
What was it about this person though?
I think what it really was is there were some other things that had transpired with someone else. So that person didn't necessarily have the best reputation.
Gotcha.
would you agree? I mean, she's kind of speaking.
And not only that, I think that as a man, I know certain things that men say and men do
You
that
could tell there was
yeah, definitely. Yeah, 100%.
There was something
100%. There's certain things you say and certain things you know that a man say and man, you're like, nah, bro.
So you felt like he was that friend that was just hanging around waiting for some
Yeah, and no, and if she was the fold and give over, you're like, oh yeah, he definitely would have did it. So that's why I'm like, nah, if you choose to do that, that's on you, because this was a little bit earlier in our relationship.
Yeah, this was kind of.
So I'm like, yeah, man, I don't agree with it, you know. You know what I'm saying?
Meanwhile, I was Kelly.
And she
I didn't
like
even see
super naive and green.
No, he's not. What are you talking about?
Bro, all right.
He would never do
So listen, again, this was a long time ago.
Yeah,
this I want to say.
This was probably like
8,
2
9
years into us.
So
dating.
maybe like
We've been
8,
together
9,
12
10 years ago. So
Yeah.
right.
I had did the the look through the phone thing. This is where I did.
Okay.
This is what happened. I
You
looked through
searched
the
for it, you
phone.
found
Yeah, and then what I saw was, it's talking about wine tasting. They're like, let me come and taste that. LOL.
I don't like. I don't like that sentence.
Hey,
Ain't no-
LOL.
That shit.
No,
How are you
How are you overlooking that strong red flag?
Yo,
you know what I'm saying?
That was a flaming red flag.
yo, flaming. Okay. Now that I look back at
Fire.
it, now that I look back at it, I'm like, duh, stupid. But for me, I was so here.
That you weren't even considering.
And
can
that,
know you're
but
being
that is
funny.
something that my mom and I have talked about, where she was like, you're the type of person that when you like someone, you're so tunnel vision that you're naive when other people are throwing out innuendos or flirting or whatever. Because to me, he was like, yeah, come, you know what I mean? You should come over and taste it. And I was like, oh